Hey everybody, it's Kyle with Faith on Tap again. Wanted to get out another video. Had a chance to sit down over Skype with our next presenter, MaryAnn McKibben Dana, and talk a little bit with her about what this next topic is going to be, how improvisation has fueled her understanding of the gospel, and where she might take us in our next session.
That's the nature of improv, actually. That's what I love about this, is the idea of building something while you're in the process of experiencing it, rather than, we're such good planners as Presbyterians. We kind of want to get everything under control and figured out, and life just moves too fast and is too unpredictable. And so that's what has kind of gotten me excited about improv, is thinking about tools for helping people live in the world in creative ways that go beyond this idea of needing to control and manage, which is really kind of hard to pull off with life as complicated as it is. So I don't come to improv as someone who has practiced it a lot. I did theater in high school and in college, but I'm very much someone who liked to learn my lines and perform them. But the longer I live in the world and experience people as a pastor, the more I have seen that improv has a lot to offer in how we live in the world. There are a lot of situations that we find ourselves in where we aren't able to control what happens. Things happen to us. And the basic rule of improv is to say yes and, to receive what is offered to you and to build on it on stage. So if you're on stage with someone and somebody says, hey, you are doctors, then you act as doctors and you build on that. And that to me is the way our spiritual lives work. Things happen to us. People in our lives get sick. Divorces and losses and all kinds of things happen to us. And we can't control them. We can't keep them from happening sometimes. We can do our best, but life happens to us. And so how can we best respond to those circumstances and build something beautiful out of them? To me, that's what the gospel is about. As I started to get interested in this topic, I went back to the scripture, and again, I saw stories of God improvising with God's people. God works with the people that God has called to be in that situation, and something creative and dynamic and life-giving comes out of it. So that is something that has really had an impact on my own life in thinking about what God is up to in the 21st century. When things happen to us, sometimes people try to make sense of it and say, well, God has a plan. There's a purpose in all of this. Everything happens for a reason. And I think sometimes that can be helpful language, but I also know a lot of people, myself included, who find that language really limiting. And when you think about the bad things that happen, it's hard to see how God could have a plan for those bad things to happen. But we do believe that God can work in the midst of terrible circumstances to bring about beautiful things and life-giving things. Not that God causes the bad, but that God works in partnership with us to make beautiful things happen. And that to me is an improvisational process. God working with us to bring about what is most life-giving and life-affirming and gospel soaked that we can. And so that's what improv really is about to me.
So I want to thank MaryAnn again for making the time to sit down with us. This was a new program that we used to record Skype calls, so there were some technical difficulties. I appreciate you bearing with us. Come out to Gordon Biersch on September 18th, and you can see that MaryAnn really does have shoulders. We're starting at 6:30 instead of 5:30 to allow traffic to die down on a Friday. Childcare will be provided by North Park Presbyterian, and we cannot wait to see you there. Thanks for watching.